organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Tonight on Daily Iowan TV, as students arrive on campus, so does a relatively rare disease. We'll give you details next.
And it was a busy summer on campus. We'll tell you what you missed while you were away.
It's been a busy couple of weeks for fall athletics in preparation for their upcoming seasons.
The sports crew starts off by introducing you to the offensive side of football and where women's soccer stands.
All this and more, Daily Iowan TV starts now.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kelsey Stanger.
And I'm Hannah Hawks.
Last week, Iowa students received an email about mumps on campus. Reporter Brent Griffiths has the story.
As students return to campus for the fall semester, health experts are on the lookout for a disease, mumps. At the University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics, Dr. Lorene Herdwall is an expert in infectious diseases and limiting their spread. She works with officials at the UI Student Health and Wellness on issues related to diseases like mumps and the recent string of cases in the area. Her best advice is if you come down with mumps is to stay home and away from everyone, because by the time you notice any of these symptoms, you are already contagious.
Well, mumps is contagious several days before people develop the typical signs of mumps, and it's also contagious for probably up to 4 or so days after the swelling in their glands begin.
Despite usually seeing just one case a year, 15 have been reported so far in Johnson County. But public health officials say the increase, which includes 6 UI students, is a long way from the 2006 outbreak of mumps that covered the state. But with such a small number, so far it is difficult to draw any conclusions.
It may have plateaued, and again, 15 is not it's not such a huge number that we can really make a lot of generalizations.
Reporting from Iowa City, I'm Brent Griffiths, Daily Iowan TV.
Officials say if an outbreak of mumps were to occur, the UI could begin offering an optional third vaccine against the disease. The University of Illinois is currently doing just that.
Well, tomorrow is the first day of fall semester here at the University of Iowa. And for a lot of students, that means they've returned after a summer away. So for those of you who didn't stay in Iowa City, here's what you need to know. Peering across the river from the Pentacrest towards the west side of campus, students will now notice a towering addition to the Iowa City skyline. In July, University of Iowa administrators cut the black and gold ribbon on Mary Louise Peterson Hall. After 2 years of construction on the $53 million dorm, Peterson Hall is ready to house over 500 Hawkeye students. It is Iowa City's first dorm unveiling since 1968, when Slater Hall joined the Hawkeye community.
At the end of June, authorities in China arrested a suspect in the Tong Shao homicide. Shennan Li, a former University of Iowa student, was the person of interest in the murder of an Iowa State student, Tong Shao. In September, Tong Shao's body was found in the trunk of a car in Iowa City. Li is believed to have fled to China following the homicide. The United States does not have an extradition policy with China.
In July, the Iowa 6th District Court ruled that apartments downtown is breaking Iowa's landlord-tenant laws. Judge Chad Capros ruled that the lease used by the landlords from 2010 through 2014 illegally charged students thousands of dollars for cleaning and damages. The lawsuit was class action, meaning anyone who rented through apartments downtown during that time will receive compensation.
On July 12th, 20-year-old Andrea Farrington was shot and killed at the Coral Ridge Mall in Coralville. Police charged Alexander Kozak with the murder following the shooting. Farrington worked at the Children's Museum, and Kozak also worked at the mall. After his arrest, Kozak admitted that the shooting was premeditated.
The university is overhauling parking procedures in 2015. The $5 million project will, among other priorities, install automated pay stations at 28 parking lots around campus. Over the summer, UI's Parking and Transportation Director David Ricketts said the project will also focus on replacing outdated technology and maintaining the lots in use. The project is in its beginning stages, but Ricketts hopes the equipment will be installed by year's end.
After 8 years living at the corner of North Clinton and Church Street, Sally Mason's time in the UI presidential residence is over. In July, Mason retired as president of the university, concluding an era punctuated by her work in the aftermath of the devastating flood of the Iowa River in 2008, which left parts of campus soaked and in ruin. Right now, UI interim president Jean Robillard is leading a search committee that dwindled Mason's replacement candidates to 4.
And you also missed a very warm and stormy summer.
So let's toss it over to Casey for an update on the weather. Casey, should we expect more of the same?
This week might be a bit cooler, actually. Tomorrow morning, you can expect a cool 52 degrees. As we move to the afternoon, it will continue to be clear with a temperature in the low 70s. As the day comes to a close, it will only hit 62 degrees. As we move to Tuesday, sunny weather and mid-70 temperatures are what you can look for. Wednesday and Thursday look to provide much of the same with mid to high 70 temperatures. Hopefully, though, you packed an umbrella because Friday and Saturday see a chance for rain, and temperatures are going to be in the high 70s and may even reach the low 80s. That's all I have today in the weather studio. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Casey. The Iowa State Corrections Department reported one of their inmates missing Sunday after he walked away from a prison work release program in Coralville. This is the second time 26-year-old Anthony David Kendricks has escaped the work release program. In April 2014, he was missing for 4 months after walking away from the same program. Kendricks is currently serving a 5-year sentence.
A body was found in the road early Sunday morning in West Des Moines. Authorities are investigating after Dalton Hawley's body was found a little after 2 a.m. Police say the early investigation suggests he was hit by a car that left the area, but an autopsy will be performed.
Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton is headed back to Iowa this week. She will visit Tabor Home Vineyard and Winery in Jackson County at 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday. According to her campaign, she'll be talking about strengthening agriculture and supporting rural communities.
On Sunday, the University of Iowa freshmen joined together on the Pentacrest for the Convocation, the concluding event for On Iowa.
Here it's super inspirational. I have an envelope here, so hopefully it's interesting.
On Iowa is a welcoming program for incoming students the weekend before classes, designed for students to get a feel for the campus and meet new friends.
This year's On Iowa, by all accounts, was a huge success. We've got a big first-year class. All our events have been packed.
The convocation ended on Iowa with speeches from the provost, interim president, and a chosen student to ring in the new year.
And now let's take a look at what's happening outside of Iowa.
Officials from North and South Korea continue talks Sunday aimed at preventing the two rival countries from going to battle. However, there are reports of unusual Korean troop and submarine movement. The talks come after North Korea declared they were ready for battle if South Korea did not remove a set of loudspeakers along the border that broadcast anti-Pyongyang propaganda. The death toll is expected to rise after a crash at an air show in the United Kingdom. Authorities predict the death toll will increase to 11. A British fighter jet slammed into a busy road on Saturday afternoon during an air show. The jet hit several vehicles and the death toll was initially 7 people. The pilot remains in critical condition.
With the school year just about to begin, that means the fall sports season is approaching.
Sports like soccer, football, field hockey, and volleyball have been running around getting ready for the season.
Now we'll send it over to Taylor Brooks and Laura Belando, who are standing by in the sports studio.
It's not only the sports teams that have been running around, we definitely have been too.
There were countless media days last week for the various fall sports, but tonight we dig into how women's soccer is bouncing back from losing an impressive senior class.
Players like Chloe Lacoste, Melanie Picker may have moved on, but head coach Dave Diani is continuously stressing the fact that with youth comes opportunity.
I took a look at how the team is starting out, and from my gathering, it's on the right foot.
This is the goal that ended the season last year for the Iowa women's soccer team. And after that loss, Iowa went on to lose 10 seniors, making this new season a little different.
I don't think there's going to be one individual. Specifically after 2 weeks, I think looking at the group, I think it's going to be a lot of goals scored by 5 or 6 different players.
Coach Diani and his assistant coaches add 11 newcomers to this squad, making the margin very large at who's willing to step up and be a leader.
The best way is to just go introduce yourself. You be the one to start it. They're not going to want to come up to a junior and be like, hey, like, how's it going? Like, it's up to us to kind of usher them in and like get to know them and make them feel more comfortable.
Even with those unfamiliar faces, you will see some familiar faces of Amanda Lulick and Corey Burns in the backfield, and in the front line, the aggressive Bree Telly. Inside the net remains Hannah Clark. The quick-handed goalie is the lone captain for the year.
It's nice that the coaches put confidence in me and the players. They have someone to trust, and it's nice that they can come to me and do that. We also have other upperclassmen who they can go to, so not only like the single captain, I guess you could say.
Totaling 20 shutouts in her career, it seems to still be the same story as she let nothing get past her in their home opener on Friday night against Pacific, making her shutout total now 21. Even with the first game jitters out of the way, the biggest thing this team needs to do to succeed is just find their rhythm.
We never found a tempo. We never kept the ball as much as we would have liked, but it was a great start for this young group.
This has been Taylor Brooks for Daily Iowan TV Sports.
What an awesome way to start this season, and they kept it rolling today, this afternoon, when they beat South Dakota State 4-0.
As some sports already getting the ball rolling, unfortunately, college football doesn't start for another 13 days.
Disappointing, but we have been all over the Midwest these past 3 weeks getting everything you need to know about the upcoming football season.
We spent some time in Chicago covering all of the Big Ten football teams, and we came back to Iowa City to finally put a little more focus on the black and gold.
Everyone's anxious about this upcoming season, and I know that we definitely are.
Tonight, we start cracking down on what has been going on inside the gridiron by starting off with the offense. With the loss of left tackle Brandon Sheriff and right tackle Andrew Donnell, Hawkeye fans can expect to see a couple new faces taking over the O-line and making it their own. Does the name Ike Bodker sound familiar? If not, it will. This 6'6", 300-pound offensive lineman is only a sophomore, but is expected to take the reins. Well, him, along with senior center Austin Blythe, who has no worries at all for this offensive side of the trenches.
We got guys filling the void right now. Anytime you lose guys, you got guys ready to replace them.
The love for run-style offense in the Iowa playbook creates an obvious need for speedy and brute backs. With the graduation of running back Mark Wiseman, you can expect to see a newer number burying his body into the end zone this year. Junior LaShawn Daniels might be the perfect replacement for a third and short running back. But let's not forget a more familiar ball carrier, number 33, Jordan Kanziri. The 5'9" senior has proven his speed and agility by being the 45th Hawkeye to surpass 1,000 career rushing yards. Quick-handed receivers may make the Hawkeye pass game more prevalent this season. Senior Jake Hillier's massive strides and 6'4", 212-pound frame should open up an opportunity for a few huge plays downfield. A smaller and seemingly quicker version on the other side of the field, Matt Vandenberg. He recorded 14 receptions for 256 yards last season, but with his ability to get open against the DBs in the spring scrimmages, I can see that number climbing quickly. The final receiver that might ring a bell is number 4, senior Tavon Smith. He unofficially beat Odell Beckham's one-handed catch world record earlier this year, but with those hands, he'll finish out this well-rounded receiving core in line to replace the graduation of Cavante Martin-Manley. Last but certainly not least, your slightly new and definitely improved starting quarterback, C.J. Beathard. After the transfer of Jake Rudock, there'll be a lot of number 16's cannon of an arm coming from inside the pocket. His connection with the tight ends and receivers was obvious in the drives he led last season, and after the spring and summer training under his belt, could this be a Tate to Holloway Capital One Bowl potential in the works? And last time we caught up with head coach Kirk Ferentz, everything pretty much seemed to be up in the air.
We'll catch up with head coach Kirk Ferentz tomorrow, so make sure you check out our Monday edition. But this week we take a look at every offensive position, starting with the wide receivers and tight ends Monday night.
The defense will be broken down next week and will lead to our pregame edition of Daily Iowan TV on September 3rd, just 2 days shy of the game against Illinois State.
Football isn't the only thing we will catch you up on. Tomorrow we take a look at Lisa Salucci's field hockey team and one player you won't be seeing on the field this year.
Kelsey and Hannah, back to you.
As we wrap up the show, we would like to leave with this story out of New Jersey. Friday morning, a family of 4 in Rockaway Township discovered a mama bear and her 5 cubs splashing around in their above-ground pool. Like people, the bears found a fun way to cool off from the hot summer sun. Tim Basso posted a video to YouTube capturing the black bears playing in his backyard with the pool floaties and climbing on the adjacent slide, to the disappointment of his young kids forced to share their toys.
And that's all we have for you tonight on Daily Iowan TV. Be sure to check us out tomorrow or anytime online at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for watching and have a great night.
Can't pick up a copy of the Daily Iowan? Are you worried about how you're going to find out about the latest news in Iowa City and the University of Iowa? Well, look no further. You can download the Daily Iowan mobile app on your iPhone for the area's best news coverage. And you can also read and watch us on your iPad. You can always find current and past Daily Iowan stories at dailyiowan.com. The Daily Iowan is now on TV, online, and in your pocket. If it happens, it's news to us.